Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whenever you're listening to this, I appreciate you. Whether it be YouTube, Spotify, I appreciate you. If you want to follow me, you can on Instagram at Master Bruce _ and on YouTube and Spotify, you can follow me at Master Bruce CB, all one word. But let's get into this NFL draft. The NFL draft is among us, creeping up very quickly, and I'll be honest with you, there's only one way that the Giants can go. With 5 or 7, we have to pick a tackle. So I'm going to go in depth with the difference between 3 tackles and how I pray the draft turns out so we can at least get one of them. So the 3 best tackles in this draft are Neal from Alabama, Ekwonu from North Carolina State, and Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Now, Charles Cross, I'm saying his full name because we share the same first name, so that's out of respect. No disrespect to Neal or Ekwonu. But so I'm gonna start with who I want the most. And then shout out to Pro Football Focus as well as Pro Football Network. I was doing some mock drafts on their websites, and that was where I was getting a lot of my research, as well as Walter Payton Football. I've been going there for years for pre-draft stuff, so they're great. Evan Neal, in my opinion, Evan Neal, Charles Cross, or Ekwonu has to be one of the picks. For them to be head and shoulders above the top, the next class of tackles, and the drop-off to be so great, we can't leave top 7 without one of those 2 players. Again, I believe the biggest hole on the New York Football Giants are right tackle and center. Cornerback will be an issue as well if we trade or cut James Bradbury. If we cut Bradbury, I'm not gonna lie to you, I might throw a riot. I might start a riot. I already don't like trading him, but cutting him would just be asinine, in my opinion. And linebacker, we have a whole other linebacker as well. We definitely could use some young talent, some depth at the linebacker position. But right tackle and interior lineman for the future, because again, we signed a lot of guys that are competent, but I don't know if their answers going forward. So I'm gonna break down the three offensive linemen. So I'll be honest with you, I want Neal at 5. I pray he's there at 5. He's a 5-star recruit. He was the number 1 offensive lineman coming out of high school, the number 3 overall recruit out of Florida coming out of high school. That's a lot of Jets coming out. He was the number 3. He's 6'7", 360 with long arms and positional versatility. He played guard from 2009 before moving to tackle in 2020. With the experience at guard as well as left and right tackle, I think that would be a perfect complement to Andrew Thomas. Well, obviously a compliment because he can play opposite at right tackle. But 2, in the event that Thomas ever misses time for whatever reason, Neal can be moved over to left tackle so the backup can fulfill the right tackle opposed to having him play the blind side. Also with Neal, I just believe playing in the SEC, specifically Alabama, he's battle tested. So not only is he lining up against 4 and 5 stars in games, but in practice every day, he's going against a top player, a top Alabama recruit, 5-star every day in practice. So those factors, his size, his tape, I believe he's the head and shoulders best tackle, in my personal opinion. I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Jags picked him at 1. I'd be devastated, but I wouldn't be shocked. Now, here's a little interesting curveball. So before I started my in-depth analysis on these 3 players, I thought Ekwonu was the second. I would have been more comfortable with Ekwonu as a second, my second favorite to Neal. But after I deep dived into looking at the tape, the measurables, and everything, I think they're both, again, not as good as Neal. I think Neal is a more clear-cut, ready-to-play prospect today. But when I'm looking at these 2 players, Ekwonu and Charles Cross, Ekwonu, they say he's maybe the nastiest blocker in the draft. They're saying that at his point of attack, he doesn't just know how to block you. He wants to finish you into the ground. He wants to take your lunch and let you know about it. He's definitely the type of guy you want on your side at a bar fight. But that being said, I've seen too many takes saying that he's best suited at guard. I even read somewhere that someone compared him to William Hernandez. Now, as a Giants fan, you know that is not what you want to hear. You don't want draft pundits to, completely shape your opinion on a person. You want to be able to have an open mind when you watch tape, watch the measurables, things like that. So to me, the fact that he was a 3-star coming out of high school and in the lesser division, or conference rather, that's what kind of makes me look at Charles Cross as the better of the 2. Charles Cross coming out of high school was a 5-star recruit. And like I said, then he was the number 1 prospect in the state of Mississippi. So the number 1 player in the SIP, it's pretty big. He didn't allow a pressure on 66 pass blocking snaps versus Alabama in 2021. 50-plus pass blocking snaps in 10 or 12 games. And he's a redshirt sophomore, so he's a little younger. I don't know. I think Charles Cross, I might like the intangibles more than Ekwonu. Because, again, we need a tackle. If Ekwonu is best suited at guard, of course I want versatility, but I want their best position to be tackle. And it seems as if, from what I'm watching, when I take a deeper dive into Ekwonu, he seems a little better suited at guard, and that kind of scares me. So that's my breakdown on 3 players. So this is what I hope / pray happens in the draft. As I said earlier, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jacksonville Jaguars picked Evan Neal. Like I said, wanted to protect Trevor Lawrence, wanted invest in your young guy, make sure he stays upright. That's definitely a smart avenue to take. The Detroit Lions, I'm kind of torn on what I think they'll do. Dan Campbell's come on and said that Kayvon Thibodeau isn't his type of guy. So, I can definitely see that. I don't really anticipate them drafting a quarterback here, which is kind of tough in the sense of us wanting a player to drop to 5. When you don't have a quarterback going top 4, that makes it pretty tough. But I think there's still the chance, there is an off chance, that they, maybe they pick a Sauce Gardner. Maybe I don't know. I really don't see them picking the tackle. But then again, who knows? The Texans are a big wild card because they really, in a lot of ways, you can say they need, pretty much everything. They could use a little bit of everything. So with that being stated, they're a big wild card. I've seen a lot of talk about them wanting Kyle Hamilton. And lately I've heard a lot of Sauce Gardner, so I'm definitely hoping that. And the Jets as well, I don't really anticipate them going offensive linemen. They got Mekhi Becton as well as they invested later in the draft, as well as I believe they signed an offensive lineman. So I believe as long as the Jacksonville Jaguars don't pick an offensive lineman, I think we should be guaranteed at 5 to get either Neal or Ekwonu or Charles Cross. Now, what I will say what has happened, the 7th pick, I do believe one or two things are going to happen. I believe if, for whatever reason, 2 of those 3 are on the board at 5, I could potentially see us trading down and then picking, whoever's left at 7. Or what I would do is secure whoever we want at 5, whether only 1 of 3 is there or, 2 is there. I wouldn't mind us picking whoever we feel is the best at 5 and then trading down at 7. I believe the Giants have more holes than what we have draft picks for because, again, even though we have roughly 11 picks, there's no way to guarantee if we get half of those players to be consistent starters, that would be a plus. So with that being said, I don't know if there's a player at 7 that I think would change our roster. If Sauce Gardner was there at 7, I wouldn't be mad at it. Jermaine Johnson, pass rush from Florida State. I'm starting to see him a little more. Even Trayvon Walker. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I think will be best for the team. What I want Joe to do, yeah, Joe, we're still listening, we're watching. I wouldn't be mad if we locked up the tackle we won at 5 and then traded down 7 to accumulate more picks. That's what I'm feeling. But all right, just a quick rundown. Again, I appreciate you for listening. Gonna continue to give you content, sports content. Gonna start to branch out a little more out of just New York sports. I just had to, get my feet wet first. But now that, like I said, on the Spotify, on YouTube, Master Bruce CB. Follow me on Instagram, Master Bruce _. I appreciate you. Show me love. Don't hold me like you don't know me. Send it to a buddy. I appreciate you.